everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic.com here with another news update. We have some pretty serious news, actually, about threats that have been made to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia after their greatest Royal Rumble event, so very serious stuff there. We also have some news of the rundown of the Money in the Bank card, which is coming up in a couple of weeks' time, and we're going to talk about all the matches that have been added in the past few days. And finally, of course, we have news of a big title change over on Impact, which happened just last night. So let's crack straight on with it and get into all of the news. Yes, so the first piece of news comes from the Independent newspaper, which reports that apparently the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia have been threatened by Al-Qaeda for bringing corruption and foreign influence into the country in the form of cinemas and specifically WWE. Of course, a reference to the greatest Royal Rumble event, which took place last month. The event caused a lot of controversy on both sides. Many saw it as a PR stunt for Saudi Arabia, who had essentially, in the eyes of many, bought off WWE to hold a show there. Also, there was this whole thing about women's wrestlers not being allowed on the show, and whether that was a violation of their rights as WWE employees, superstars. And also, despite there not being any women on the show, no women were taken to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. There was, of course, Carmella Gate, where Carmella appeared on a video package which aired midway through the show in her ring gear, which was deemed potentially offensive for Saudi audiences. Now, apparently, Al-Qaeda have threatened the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and said they were unhappy because disbelieving wrestlers exposed their privates and on most of them was the sign of the cross. On most of them was the sign. I can think of some wrestlers who have the sign of the cross on their gear, like Sheamus and potentially Kalisto, but I wouldn't say that most of them did. In front of a mixed gathering of young Muslim men and women, the warning from Al-Qaeda said. Now, hopefully the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia do not, bow to terrorist sort of demands or wishes. Hopefully they just kind of carry on as normal. I don't really know what else to report. I'm by no means an expert on the intense political situation going on, but what I do know is that it's not the sort of thing that wrestling is normally involved with. So hopefully the whole thing gets resolved or just doesn't particularly go anywhere. Now, some more cheerful news. Normal service has been resumed. We're going to talk about the Money in the Bank card because this week a new match was added. Seth Rollins will face Elias for the Intercontinental Championship after Elias jumped Seth on Monday Night Raw. Rollins had just, technically lost a match against Jinder Mahal. He attacked him with a chair, but he was standing tall on the announce table, and then Elias came out from the back, smacked him with a guitar in the back, and Rollins flew into that weird little pit in front of the Raw announce table. Now, let's take a look at the rest of the card. We have the two Money in the Bank ladder matches. We have the men's, which features Braun Strowman versus Finn Balor versus The Miz versus Rusev versus Bobby Roode versus Kevin Owens versus a member of the New Day versus Samoa Joe. Lots of potential winners there. That could be a very exciting match. Could it be one of the greatest Money in the Bank matches of all time? Potentially. In the women's side of things, we have Ember Moon versus Charlotte Flair versus Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch versus Natalya versus Lana versus Naomi versus Sasha Banks, who of course won that last chance gauntlet on Monday Night Raw. Could this be better than the previous women's Money in the Ladder Bank match? Yes, absolutely. I would put money on it being better than both the one that James Ellsworth essentially won for Carmella and the rematch as well. The rematch wasn't as bad, but I think this match has a much stronger lineup and it should be the best women's Money in the Bank ladder match of all time out of the three that we'll have had so far. The WWE Championship will be defended by AJ Styles against Shinsuke Nakamura in a last man standing match. Could this be Nakamura's eventual ultimate coronation as WWE Champion? We shall see. Nia Jax versus Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship. I don't know how they're going to do that because if Nia loses, she's just had this big uplifting storyline with Alexa Bliss and now she's a heel again and it's all a bit weird. But you can't see Ronda Rousey losing, can you? Not so soon after her debut. Carmella versus Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal in what should be a popular match. The Bludgeon Brothers defend their Raw Tag Team Championships against The Club, and Sami Zayn will take on Bobby Lashley in the aftermath, I guess, of Sistergate. Now, this is by no means the final card. I imagine that we'll also see the Raw Tag Team Championships defended, I guess, between Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt, the current Tag Team Champions, and whoever wins that Battle Royal that Kurt Angle booked this week on Monday Night Raw for next week's show. I hope it's the B Team. Come on, the B Team. I believe in you. B for believe. B for Bo Leave. Bo Dallas is one of the members. Let's move on to our final news piece. And finally, if you haven't seen yet, there was a big title change on last night's Impact. It was one of those Impact shows which is branded as like a special event, not so much a pay-per-view because it still airs on free television, but it's, they only have 3 pay-per-views a year, so some of their weekly Impact shows are rebranded as like special editions where they have big title matches and that sort of thing. And this one was called Impact Under Pressure, and it featured a big title, well, several title matches, but the biggest was between the current champion Pentagon Jr. and his challenger, the former champion Austin Aries. Now, Austin Aries won the belt back in controversial circumstances, it must be said. The match ended up as a double count out. They both fought on the outside, hit each other's big moves, and neither of them could answer the referee's 10 count. Then Austin Aries got on the mic and said, no, Pentagon, if you truly have zero fear, Thero Miedo, you know, it's your catchphrase and everything, then he didn't deliver it like that. That's your catchphrase and everything. Come on now, Pentagon, I'm waiting. He didn't do that. He said, get in the ring now, let's restart this match. Pentagon agreed because he has no fear. He's a big, brave badass. The match continued, and it led to another double count out. Pentagon hit a package pile driver on the apron, both fell to the outside, and again, neither could answer the referee's count. This time, Pentagon tried to restart the match, got right in Aries' face with his hand gesture, his taunt. Aries was very annoyed, said to the referee, let's do it, ring the bell. The referee turned away. Aries low-blowed Pentagon, hit a brainbuster, and became Impact champion once again. And now is a fully fledged heel. He was a bit of a tweener. He came back as a big babyface, defeating Eli Drake, then sort of slowly became a tweener, and now you can't really argue with the fact that he's a full-on, big old full-on heel. So what do you make of the title change? What do you make of any of our news stories? Let us know in the comment section down below. I've been Jack from Cultaholic.com. Thank you very much for watching this video. You can follow me on Twitter at JackTheJobber. You can follow all of us at Cultaholic and check out our Patreon as well, patreon.com/Cultaholic. And never forget, obviously, to join us.